Our world has a problem. Actually, it has quite a few problems. All of them are so important. But this one in particular, I know affects so many people. And I think if we take steps to solve it, those other issues just may benefit too as a result. Now, from how I see it, solving this issue can only be done if we have a few dedicated people come together and work intentionally on a daily basis to minimize its effects. The problem I'm talking about is mediocrity.
There are clearly a bunch of people in our world that want to make a positive impact. Maybe you're one of them. Speaking for myself, my goal is to create a life that I never want to retire from. Then teach others how to do the same thing. The challenge that I always face whenever I start to really think about putting that goal into practice and taking the steps to actually make it a reality is what I like to call the what if phase. What if I can't live up to that image? What if the path that I choose to take to make that goal a reality turns out to be wrong? What if something life-changingly amazing comes up along the way, and because I've already committed to doing it this way, I completely miss out on the opportunity to do that? The interesting thing about these what ifs is, to an extent, all of them are valid enough to be considered. What we can't allow is for that validity to prevent us from taking any action at all. There will literally always be doubts, like that comes with being human, so you can't avoid it. But if we're ever going to actually pursue the dreams that we've been given, we're going to have to get to a point where we recognize and acknowledge that those what ifs exist, then ask ourselves if it's worth doing anyway.
Tim Ferriss, author of the 4-Hour Workweek, Tools of Titans, and others, has one remedy for this that he calls fear setting. I'll link a video of him talking about it in the description too if you guys want to learn more. Basically, fear setting has 3 steps. First, you write out every possible worst case scenario that comes to your mind as a result of you taking this action. Next, you write out the actions you can take to minimize the likelihood of those scenarios. Then, finally, you write out how you could work back to where you are now if those scenarios were to play out. It's basically like the opposite of goal setting.
In most cases, those fears, those what ifs, don't come close to matching the good that could come as a result of doing what you have in mind. Let's think about these what ifs for a second. What if you were the only person on the planet that could do exactly the thing you're wanting to do? What if you were the only person that could do it the exact way you could? What if because you hesitated and didn't start right now, someone completely misses out on the one thing that could have changed their entire life forever? Those are the what ifs that we should be taking more time to consider, because they're all true. When you spend time talking to people that have lived long lives, it's super rare that you find anybody that talks about the things that they didn't do. Sure, they will have made some wrong decisions, everybody does that, but the main things that they think about are the things that they wish they would have done. The trips they would have taken, the businesses they would have started, the relationships they would have pursued, the risks that at the time seemed way too high, so they never happened. We have the opportunity to avoid many of those regrets. Like, we can actually pursue the goals that we have in our minds, especially if that's something that has been in your head and you've been thinking about it constantly. That is a huge indication that it's something you should be doing. And that's actually why I've started this whole reject mediocre thing. Like, this is something that I've been battling with for 3 years, at least. And sometimes a battle like that is necessary. Like, if you're in a battle of your own, accept that that's where you are, but don't accept that that's where you'll stay. There are many of us who want to take the next step forward in life, but we don't feel like we have the resources necessary to make that a reality. I'd like for Reject Mediocre to be able to do away with that excuse. If somebody wants to move forward, Reject Mediocre should be the place where they can go to know that they have a community of people that are wanting to see them be successful, and will be able to provide them with the tools that they need to make the steps forward that they need to make. Now, this channel specifically will obviously be a place for me to be able to share some of my experiences along the way, but there are a bunch of other things that I'd like to do to be able to make sure that you guys have everything that you need to be successful. More on that to come, obviously, but wanted to at least give you guys this video to give you kind of a peek inside my brain and what I'd like to actually do with this community. With that said, in case it wasn't already abundantly clear, I've decided to reject mediocre. The question at this point is, have you?